Hello and welcome back. Today we're going to look at how to make a spreadsheet. This is going to be our first of two videos on spreadsheets. This first one, we are going to look at creating a place to keep track of your classroom expenses. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a folder to kind of keep track of all my receipts. And will also be the location of the spreadsheet. So the first thing, I'm going to create a folder called expenses. I'm going to enter that folder. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put one of my receipts in there. So I'm going to go to File, Upload. And this is a PDF that I created by printing to a PDF instead of printing to paper. And now I have my receipt here in the expenses folder. I'm going to double click on that to bring that up so we can see the amount. This was for some copper tape that we used in week 1 to make our name tags with the LEDs. So the total is 160, and now I need a place to keep track of that. So in my other window here, I'm going to open up Drive. Just going to drive.google.com, and I can see that folder that I had just created called Expenses. I can also see that there's the receipt there. We're now going to create a spreadsheet by clicking on Google Sheets. I'm going to call this Classroom Supplies. Okay. I'm going to label my columns. I'm going to give it the date of the purchase, a description, and the amount. Okay. So we're going to start with 8/8/18. We're going to call this copper tape. And then we'll put in that amount of 160.05. Now, Google Sheets does not know that that's a dollar amount until we tell it. So I'm going to click on the header here of column C, and then I'll go to Format, Number, and I want this to be a currency. Okay, so that's showing 160.05. Now, let's pretend we had some other expenses here. I'm going to fill this date in. That's just going to automatically count off dates. We'll talk more about that in the next video, the fill command. And then we can just say pens, pencils, highlighters, notebooks, and tape. Okay, so let's say we spent $15 there, 15 on pencils, $20 on highlighters, $25 on notebooks, and $10 on tape. Now, one of the most powerful features of using a spreadsheet to keep track of things is that it has a built-in calculator. So I'm going to create a column over here called Total, and I'm going to tell it, here we're going to invoke a formula. So we're going to hit the equal sign, okay? Now Google Sheets is expecting a formula. Now, to get the sum of these, it's simply SUM. I'm going to open parentheses, and then I'm going to highlight the column that I wanted to add. So I'm going to highlight down here, because maybe I will get down to row 35 eventually. And then I can close my parentheses, and I can see that my total is $245. Now, you may get some money from your school or from the state legislature for purchasing classroom supplies. So I might have a budget amount. So maybe my budget is, let's say they gave us $200. Okay. And then I can tell that that's a number 2, that is a dollar amount, currency. And then I can then say remaining in budget would be the budget minus the total. So I would once again do a formula, so equals, and this time I'm just going to do, you have to use a code because I'm just going to say the budget is F2, that's the cell, minus E2, and then hit enter, and we can see that my budget is actually negative. So I've overspent, so I won't be reimbursed for that. Um, so that is a quick way to get started keeping track of your expenses with a Google Sheet. In our next Google Sheet, we're going to start looking at some assessment data to keep track of your student progress.